All right, so we're gonna start on our backs. Feel free to bring feet down, knees up. So we're starting on our backs. Just kind of give the hips a wiggle. Give the shoulders a little wiggle. Give the head a wiggle. Let the neck have its nice natural curve. And if it's comfortable, bring your hands to your lower belly. I'm going to be focusing a lot on breath today. So just start to allow your torso to soften. Let your breath arrive in your torso. Try to let go of any other distractions and arrive on the mat. And I'm going to read this passage, The Wave of the Breath. So when the breath is observed, it's not an act induced in the mind by something other than the mind, but rather it is the very wave of the mind, like a tide flowing and ebbing into a bay, into a channel going out from the sea. Imagine a lake under the dome of your skull with which those waves are going out. But at the moment, this lake is not a lake. It's a witch's cauldron, bubbling all over the place. Bubble here, bubble, bubble, bubble there. But when the meditational process begins, you take the lake and you let the tide flow into a channel. These dogs are so distracting. So you observe the breath as a wave of the mind flowing, a wave of the mind ebbing, a wave of the mind flowing, a wave of the mind ebbing and flowing. You are not watching this from the outside, but from the very center of the composition of the mind, from where you are sending the waves and bringing back the waves, and sending and bringing the waves back. Try to allow your breath to ride like the waves. And then just gently take your knees and shuffle them side to side, so allow them to come all the way right and then all the way left, nice and slow. Starting to feel the front of your hips. And then bring your knees in and give yourself a little hug. And then take your feet up towards the ceiling and just start to point and flex the feet, wiggle the toes. And then bring the toes all the way towards the shins and take nice slow circles with the feet, really using the feet muscles. So slow as you can go, as if you're trying to catch every corner, the joint, and then back the other way. And then bring your hands onto your thighs. Stop boogie. Hands onto your thighs. And press your thighs into your hands. See if you can feel your lower core muscles fire up. Flex the feet and make the legs strong. Press. And then let that go. And we're going to start to work the core. So we're going to do bicycle legs first. Dog is in the way. So squeezing the stomach towards the spine. Take one leg out and then bring the other leg in. Bicycle legs. Really bringing the stomach towards the spine. Don't put your foot down too low, it'll kick you in the face. Plus, I'm trying to go around the dog. Starting to move with your breath. So nice and slow and controlled. Maybe bring your bicycle legs up a little towards the ceiling. So legs are engaged. And then bring your knees in, give yourself a hug, and then take the knees in big circles. Bring the knees in and roll over to the left side. And place your head onto your arm. You're gonna bring your knees on top of each other, hips are stacked, ankles are together, and we're gonna do clamshell lifts. So I don't know if you can see, but knees are gonna come up and down nice and slow. Trying to fire up the outside side of your leg. So imagine that you have a band, a rubber band between the knees, and it's really hard to move your leg. Really engaging this outer leg. Then take the top leg straight. And you're gonna lift with the heel. So whole leg engaged, lifting the heel. Try not to shorten this gap between the rib cage and the hip. Make it all in the leg. And then take that top leg and tuck it behind you. As far as it will go, if you don't have a dog in the way. Take your right hand, take it up overhead, reach and stretch. And then bend the knee on the right leg. Maybe you can catch the foot. If you catch the foot, press the foot into the hand. Feel the quad spiral. There's a back door. Let that go. Bring it all the way over back to your back. Take the feet up in the air. And we're going to do a Kriya for the stomach here. So we're going to pull the stomach tightly towards the spine. Inhale as you lower the right leg. Exhale as you bring it up. Inhale as you lower the left. Exhale as you bring it up.
You're getting so close to my face.
I can see you. I'm not. Look, this is still. I get you. And then bring the knees in, give yourself a hug, and roll it over to the right side. So stack knees and hips and ankles. And then we're gonna lift the knee, left knee, clamshell lifts. Really squeezing this left leg using the outer hip. And then take the top leg straight and lift the heel without compromising this gap between the rib cage and the hip, all from the leg down. And take the top leg and tuck it all the way behind you as far as you can. Take the left arm and reach and stretch overhead. Reaching from the fingertips to the toes. Really? And then reach back, see if you can grab the foot. If you catch the foot, push the foot into the hand. Fire up the quad on the left leg. Let that go, and using a hand, come on up to a seated position. Find a comfortable seat. Get nice and tall in the spine. So find a position that you can ground down the hips, really tall in the spine. You can bring the fingertips to the ground. Bring the chin all the way down to the chest, and then take a really slow circle with the head. And then reverse your circle. And then fingertips on the ground. Take your chest in a little tight, tiny circle. Squeezing the core. And then inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, lower right hand. Reach over, inhale center. Exhale, lower left. Following the breath, take some waves. Inhaling up, exhaling over. Trying to keep the hips planted. So rather than letting one hip lift either side, really pushing down the hips. Thinking about that breath being a wave. Then bring it back to center, fingertips back to the ground, and take your chest in the opposite direction for your circles. Nice and slow and controlled, squeezing the core. Bring it back to center. Inhale up. Exhale, pull down. Pull the elbows behind you. Inhale up. And exhale, pull down. Following your breath. Starting to open up the chest. Bring the elbows down, hold them down, breathe into the chest. And then bring the elbows forward, squeezing the arms, squeeze them tight together. Lift the elbows. Bring them down, squeezing them tight. And then lift. And down. Bring that down. Take some nice soft circles with the shoulders. And find your way to tabletop. So covered in fog here. So finding your version of tabletop that works for you. We're gonna move and breathe here. So you can tuck the toes, you can keep the toes flat. You're gonna inhale in a tabletop and exhale, send the hips backwards. Starting simple at first, inhaling forward, exhaling backwards, feeling the connection of your hands on the ground, your feet on the ground. And then inhale forward, exhale right hip towards right heel. Inhale forward, exhale left hip towards left heel. So I'm going to take a little wave shape, U shape. Following the breath. And then bring it up to tabletop. Get nice and centered. Lift up out of the ground. Bring up left hand and take right leg back. Breathe and balance. Try not to sink into this right shoulder. Lift up out of the ground. You can stay here, or you can send this left arm backwards. Right foot comes towards the glute. Maybe you can catch it. Still breathing as you balance. Slowly let the foot go. Return the left hand. Take the right foot and take little pumps of the heel towards the ceiling. Engage right leg. And then lower the toes and press through the heel. Lower the right knee, take a little reset. We're going to bring right hand up, left leg back, squeezing the core, lifting up out of the left shoulder. Breathe and balance. You can stay here or bend the left foot. Maybe reach back with the right hand. You catch the foot, push into the hand, open up.
Oh, there's a door.
Slowly release the foot if you have it. Return the right hand. Left heel pumps towards the ceiling. Little pumps. Lower the toes, press through the heel. So many distractions in home. So bring your knees down. Send the hips up and back for your first down dog. Just take the bacon. So in your down dog, bend the knees and send them towards straight, little pumps. And then bend the right knee and bring the right shoulder towards that right knee. Little stretch in the left side. Back to regular down dog. Bend the left knee and bring the left shoulder closer to that left knee. And then take it like a little sway, sending the hips, moving the hips through a little swaying motion. And then bring it back to down dog. We're going to go through a little down dog challenge. You're going to bring that same cross body action in. So bring the weight onto your right hand. You may need to bend your knees a little more. Squeeze your stomach in. Lift your left hand up. Breathe. And then maybe you can bring right toes up, cross balancing in a down dog. Breathe. Squeeze your core to keep your balance. You bring this left hand out, even with the shoulder, it helps the balance. Then bring that down. Take a little reset. And then over to the other side. So weight into the left hand, bring the right hand up. Squeeze the core to balance and bring the left toes out. Breathe and hold. And bring it back down, regular down dog. Catch your breath. Inhale, lift the right leg high, bend the knee and step it behind the right wrist. Low lunge. So once you get into low lunge, we're going to move through straightening and bending. Taking an inhale forward, exhale, straightening the leg. Nice and slow. Inhale, exhale. And for those of you that have blocks or something to lean on, you can use blocks here. Start to really fire up this back leg. Now we're going to lower the knee and untuck the toes. So pressing down into the foot on the left foot. We're going to pull the left hip forward and maybe come on up. You might need to move your foot a little bit further forward on the right foot. So you can stay down, you can lift up, really pulling on this back leg. So you might even be able to lift up off that back knee, opening up this left hip. Legs are engaged. And if you're a lazy teenager, you're just hanging out on that front leg. If you're looking for the lazy version, always step up gaily. Alright, we're going to send the hips backwards towards that left knee, opening up the front leg. Half Hanuman, half split. And you can keep this static or you can move the leg. Come forward on the right leg, tuck the toes on the left. We're going to lift the back leg, place the left hand down about underneath the shoulder. Squeeze in the core, twist from the rib cage, easy twist. Little bit of a bend in the back leg, squeeze the core, see if you can come on up to twisted lunge, right from there. What? You're like, whatever. So you can stay here, twisted lunge, squeeze. You can lower that back hand, look for the back thigh. And then bring the right hand back, torso facing front leg, high lunge. Bring the torso to about a 45-degree angle. Legs are really engaged. Squeeze them tight. If you need to pop that back foot in for your balance, do so. Bring your arms out. Make your torso heavier. Squeeze the core. And then we're going to bring left shoulder towards right knee. Squeezing the core, little pulses. And then bring the torso up, high lunge. Bring out the front foot, press into the hands. Right foot meets left, high plank. We're going to lower the knees, untuck the toes, and come all the way down to our stomachs. Find crocodile pose. One hand on top of another, forehead down, shimmy the hips. Press the front of the feet into the ground. Fire up the legs. And then find your position for hover. So you're going to lift shoulders up off the ground. You can keep the hands down or you can lift and hover, pulling the elbows back. Breathe. And then we're going to take little pulses up and down here. Bring it back down to crocodile. Shimmy the hips and let go. Bring the hands out ahead. We're not gonna have room here. Straight from the shoulders. You're gonna take left hand up and right leg up. Imagine someone pulled your hand, made you a little longer, pulled your leg, made you a little longer. Breathe and hold. Lower it down. Right hand, left leg, get a little longer. Bring that down, and then both hands, both legs, lift and hover. Get long from the fingertips to the toes. And then bring that down, crocodile pose. Shimmy the hips. Tuck the toes, bring the forearms down to the ground. So forearms are down. Elbows are just underneath, shoulders, tuck the toes. And we're gonna bring our stomach so that our hips are coming towards our rib cage. We're gonna pulse this here. So little pulses, pressing into the hands, bringing our hips towards our rib cage, engaging the core. And then send the knees, bring the knees back, send the hips backwards. Child's pose with the forearm version. And then about knees under hips. We're gonna come forward into a forearm tabletop. And then bring our chin forward, engaged arms. Send the chin all the way back, the hips back, the shoulders towards the ground. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then you can land in a forearm plank, lifting the toes, lifting the hips, lifting the knees, engaging the stomach. Pull the mat apart with your hands. So push down into the ground and then feel like you're pulling your hands away from each other. Engage, hold, and then bend the knees and slowly walk the feet up towards the hands, dolphin. You can let the head hang. You can bend the knees. Breathe. Arms and shoulders are engaged. And then lower the knees, regular child. Catch your breath. Press into the hands, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, down dog. No. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee, bring it behind the left wrist, and we're gonna go through lunge. So low lunge, inhale forward, exhale, sending this front leg towards straight. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And then set up in your low lunge. We're going to lower the back leg, untuck the toes. When you plant this foot down on the ground, press into the ground and feel like you're pulling that foot towards you, activating the front of this hip. Maybe you can lift up off this back. Lower the back knee if you have it lifted. Send the hips back towards that back leg.
I can't reach you anymore.
Looking for the stretch underneath the left leg. And forward on the left leg. Tuck the toes, lift up the back leg. Place the right hand underneath the right wrist, twisting from the rib cage. Easy twist. Maybe placing a little bend in the back leg, squeezing the stomach and the legs. Slowly lift the torso up. Twisted lunge. You can stay here. You can drop the back arm. And slowly bring the torso back to center highland. Bring the torso 45 degrees, arms out. Squeeze the core. Then we're going to bring right armpit towards the left knee. Little pulses.
What? His tight fingers.
I bring you back. Good. Ream out the front foot. Press into the hands. Stay in high plank. So getting really strong in your high plank. Active from the heels to the hands. We're going to take hip tips. So we're going to bring our hips towards our rib cage, tucking the pelvis. We're going to take our hips all the way over to the right and then slowly over to the left. Trying to keep our upper body pretty still. And then bring the hips all the way over to the right. You can lower the right knee or come on over to side plank. Squeezing the core, really focusing on lifting up out of the ground with the right side body. From here, slowly lower the hips towards the ground. Bring this left leg, plant it down firmly on the ground. Lean a little forward. You're gonna lift the right leg up off the ground, squeeze and pulse. This should be in the inner thigh and in the core. If you feel it a lot in your lower back, lean the torso further forward. Great.
I don't think I'm lifting my leg correctly.
Press into the right hand. Press into the left leg. See if you can lift the hips back up. Squeeze and lift. And we're going to take little pulses of the hips. So really squeezing the core. Little, small pulses. Slowly bring it back through down dog. Stretch it out. And then we're going to go over to the left side. I'm going to turn around. So left side plank, either lowering the left knee or lifting up into full side plank. Breathe and hold. Squeeze the core, lift the hips out of the ground. Take the right foot, cross it over, slowly lower the left hip towards the ground. And we're going to lift this left heel up off the ground. Little pulses, squeeze. Should be inner thigh. Should be hard to do. Probably. plant the left heel, push into the right, lift the hips up, and then little pulses of the hips up and down. Small movement, squeezing the core. And then bringing it slowly back through down dog. Find your breath. And move a little bit more with our breath and a little bit faster than we normally do. So taking a couple of waves. Inhale, right leg. I just hit the door. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, lower the foot down. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, frame out the front foot. Lifting the right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, lower. Find down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, bring it behind the left wrist. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, lower back knee. Inhale, lift. Inhale, lift. Exhale, frame out the front foot. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, down dog. Find a couple of breaths. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it behind right foot. Rise up, warrior two. Find your warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior. Inhale, reverse. Exhale. Inhale, reverse, straighten up the front leg. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, over. Nice and slow and controlled, squeezing the core.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January.
Exhale into your warrior two. Hold. Use your hands like you're pushing the walls away from you. Flip your shoulders, flip the palms. Nice and slow. Back and forth. Hands away, push the walls away. And then we're going to pivot on that back foot, frame out the front. Right foot meets left, high plank. And then send the hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, left leg high, bend the knee, lower the back foot down and rise up, warrior two on the other side. Hold your warrior two. Find a base. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, warrior.
July, August, September.
Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten front leg. Exhale, triangle. Nice and slow and controlled. Reverse and then into warrior two. Push the walls away. Flip the palms. So now pushing the walls away, bringing your fingertips down towards the ground. Back the other way. And again. And back. Pivot on the back foot, frame out the front, press into the hands. Send the left foot back to meet the right, and then back to down dog. Find your breath. Bend the knees, look towards the hands, and then float all the way up towards your hands. Nice little hop. Straighten the back, straighten the legs, forward fold. You can take this with arms grabbing opposite elbows. The backs of your legs are super tight. Bend the knees and let your chest, your stomach come towards your thighs. Going back to riding the breath, so bending the knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Connect your prayer overhead. Exhale, bring it down. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Time, inhale up. Bring your prayer down, swan dive all the way down. Inhale up, flat back, arms behind you. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up, connect your prayer. Exhale down to mountain. Inhale up, bring it down, swan diving it down. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Connect your prayer, bring it down to your heart. A couple more rounds, just like that. Inhaling up.
Just like the candle.
Flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to heart. Inhale up. Swan dive it down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Connect your prayer and bring it down to your heart one more round. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Connect your prayer and bring it down to your heart. So bringing your feet so that they're close together, toes can even touch. We're going to squeeze the knees together. Hands of prayer still. We're going to sink our hips down, knees bent. Awkward chair. So holding this, squeezing the lower core. See if you can come up onto the balls of the feet. Send the hips down a little further. Hold. Chest up. Very good. So we're going to go down nice and slow, like we're going down an elevator. So hands out to help you balance, squeezing the core. See if you can come down slowly as you can, an almost invisible movement. Try not to get all the way to your heels. Hover above, make this challenging. Bring your hands into prayer, squeezing the legs together and then squeezing the legs out. And in.
When you sit down, out for my dog.
And in. And then we're going to try and come all the way back up without lowering those heels, nice and slow. Bring your prayer overhead, and bring your prayer back down. Take your feet out, tap them out. Take your feet about mat width apart. press into the feet. So all of the foot active. Feel like you're trying to pull the mat apart. Start to move left and right with the hips. You want to make this harder, you're going to bring the torso down, arms out, make the torso heavy. Start to bring opposite armpit towards opposite knee, squeezing. Legs are super engaged. You're really pulling the mat away. And then turn the feet out. We're going to slowly take that rocking all the way down to Malasana, squat pose. So very important to find comfort in this pose. So move your feet to whichever angle feels comfortable. And then if you can, sink the hips down and lift the chest. And then hands find the ground, press into the heels, send the hips up, turn the feet out. Nice long back. Bend the knees, inhale all the way up. Exhale your prayer down to your heart. Step it in. Going to I know, I was just like, we're going to go into a balancing sequence. I'm not sure how I can do this with her here, but we'll try. Inhale, arms up overhead. Connect your prayer, and we're going to hold it here first. You can interlace your thumbs. You can interlace your fingers. We're going to take our prayer all the way over to the right and send the hips to the left. Keeping both feet grounded. Breathe. Back through center. Inhale over to the other side. Exhale, sorry, over to the other side. Back to center. Bring the prayer down. Bring the weight into the left leg, a little bend in the knees. We're going to bring the right leg up and out, nice and strong and active. So balance here. And then we're going to bring this right foot onto the left shin. Lift up tree pose. Same thing, interlace the fingers or the thumbs. We're going to take our prayer over to the right. Ooh. Back through center. And over to the other side. Just hold on to the wall. Back through center. Ah. Bring your prayer down to your heart. And we're going to bring the right leg up. We're going to send it past the left for warrior three.
If my dog will kick you.
I don't even know. Bending into the left leg in warrior three. Bend the right leg. And hands can fly back. Maybe you can catch this right foot with the left hand. Slowly release the foot and come on all the way back up. Take little pulses with the knee up and down, nice and strong leg. And then bring that down and tap it up.
I feel like a silhouette. It's quite dark.
Right, other side, weight onto the left leg, bring the right leg. Weight onto the right leg, bring the left leg up. Other leg. Bring the left foot onto the shin, arms up. You can clasp. Reach nice and tall, and then take it all the way over to the left. Back through center. Over to the right. Back through center. Whoop. Third one. Left foot forward. We're sending it back past the right into a modified warrior three. So a little bend in this right leg. Bend the left leg. Maybe you can catch the foot with the right hand. Slowly release the foot if you have it. Bring it all the way up to stand. Active foot. Bring the knee up and down. Really working the hip flexor.
Pretty stable. You're almost better than my wall.
Foot flexed. Active leg. Bring it down. Tap it out. So really tap the feet. Feel the wiggles. Find the breath, find ground. Really feel the feet touching the ground. Take the hands left, right, and let them swing, cleaning your space. You can even close the eyes. Bring it back to center. Inhale, arms up overhead. Connect your breath. Bring it down to your heart. Find your breath. Inhale, prayer up overhead. Exhale, bringing it down, back through center. Touch the ground. We're going to send our right foot back and our left foot back. Lower the knees and find child's pose. Hi. So find child's pose. Surrender into the ground. Let go. Find your breath.
Good.
From child's pose, bring the, I don't even know if I can do this with her the way here. You have to go with it. From child's pose, bring the hands a little bit further forward so you're really stretching into the hands. Lift the body up, so hollow out the belly, lift the torso up. Take that right hand and take it back, tuck it behind the hip. And then lower down. Maybe feeling a little more stretch in the left side body. And then switch hands, right hand out, hollow the belly, left hand to the hip, and then stretch the hips down. All the way back up. Bring the torso up, swing the hip. Swing over to your hip, lower down. Hey, Fluffy, can I have my mat? Lower down all the way to your mat. All right. Lower down to your backs, bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. We're going to take just a little bit more core work before we settle in. So squeezing your stomach towards your back, take your feet to a hover.
Oh, jeez, you can definitely kick me out.
So take your feet. Stop. Take your feet to a hover above the ground. Have them as low as you can keep your stomach doing all the work. If your back is working, lift your feet up a little. Hover here, open and close. Slow and controlled. You can also bring your hands in underneath your hips here.
I kick food up. I don't think that's good.
Slow and controlled. You like, you can lift your shoulders up off the ground here, squeezing your core even more. Bring your feet back to hip width and take flutter kicks up and down, nice and slow. And then bring your knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Take right knee over left. Bring opposite heels towards opposite shoulders, maybe grabbing the shins. Release the feet. Let the left foot come all the way over to the left, allowing the knees to come over to the left. Keeping your shoulders on the ground, twisting, opening up the right side body. Squeeze in the core, slowly bring the knees back in. Unravel, switch sides. Left knee on top, bringing opposite feet to opposite shoulders. Slowly allow the left foot to come all the way to the ground on the right side. Allow the knees to come over. Trying to keep this left shoulder on the ground. Opening up right side, left side body. Slowly bring the knees back through center. Unravel the knees and give yourself a little hug. We'll take happy baby. So bring the feet up towards the ceiling. You can grab shins or outer edges of the feet. You can keep this still or you can rock it. Finding your breath, tuning back into your breath. Bring the knees back in. We're going to go into our restorative pose. If you have a chair handy or a couch handy, you can put your feet up onto a chair. Feel free to do that. If you have a pillow to put underneath your legs, underneath your knees, feel free to do that. Otherwise, you're going to take your feet to the opposite edges of your mat. If you want to move over to here, you can put your feet. Feel free to grab a blanket if you have a blanket. All right, so starting to settle in. Starting to think about all of the parts of your body that we moved. And why do we move our body in yoga? We move it so that we can learn about it. We turn on that mind-body connection. We move it to release stored tension. So perhaps feeling in deeply towards into your muscles, feeling your muscles, and really paying attention to any changes, any differences. Bring some focus to your hips. See if you can allow your hips to soften. There's so many muscles that connect into the hips and the lower back. So see if you can almost pay attention to each muscle one by one, telling them to let go. All the work is done. Your imagination is a powerful tool. You can imagine breathing in fresh breath and sending it right to this space, sending it right to your hips, right to the muscles of your hips, muscles of your thighs, muscles in your lower back. Breathe in fresh and sweep away tension with every exhale. And then bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. Can you allow your shoulder blades to sink a little deeper into the mat? And breathe in fresh breath to this space. And sweep away tension with every exhale. Bring your awareness to your skull, and can you imagine allowing your skull to sink a little more into the mat? Allowing the muscles of the neck and the shoulders and the chest and the jaw to all soften and release. Breathing in fresh breath, fresh energy. And sweeping away tension from this space, from your neck, from your jaw, from your face. And I'm going to read from Jillian Pransky. Listen again and again. Come pause for a moment. Let your weight drain down onto the earth. Let your body land on the ground. Let yourself receive a few deep breaths. Feel your breath moving through you, moving you. Ride the waves of your breath into the present moment. Let your breath bring you here, now. It doesn't matter where you've been. You can come back here now. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be in any particular way. You don't need to be good or right. You don't need to be happy or positive. You only need to be willing to come back, to begin again. This is how we do it over and over again. We show up kindly and curiously. We slow down, get grounded, and breathe. We relax and breathe again. We pause and breathe again. We release and breathe again. Listen and breathe again. One breath at a time we arrive, even if only for one breath. One breath at a time we allow ourselves to be at ease, even if only for one breath. One breath at a time, we pause and listen, softly, deeply, bravely, even if only for one breath. We may hear our vulnerability, our sadness, our anger, our confusion, our fear. We may hear our gratitude, our joy, our prayers, our blessings, our love. One breath at a time, we listen. And then we forget, we get lost, we zip away. That's okay, we're always welcome back. We can always begin again. We can welcome ourselves back to begin again and again and yet again. One breath at a time, we listen. We come back. One breath at a time, we free ourselves to feel whole. Every time we listen deeply, we can remember our wholeness. Every time we listen deeply, we can remember our way back. And every time we listen deeply, we evolve. Listen deeply, you will know. And gently come back to the sound of my voice. Start to bring your awareness back to your body on the ground. And then bringing one hand just below the rib cage and one hand right on top of the center of the chest. So right on that heart space, the metaphorical heart. Imagine your breath breathing in from this hand on the top to the hand on the stomach. Imagine that you could breathe in through one hand, down to the other, and then back up from one hand to the other. And imagine a clear path of energy. Following your breath in gentle waves. And the hand on our heart is the space of unconditional love, and the hand right below the rib cage here is the space of our emotions. So start to connect with the concept of unconditional love for free-flowing emotions. So rather than thinking about replacing all the negative emotions that we don't feel like we like or that we don't feel are correct or right, we're going to imagine just allowing whatever emotions are present to be present and giving them some unconditional love. Emotions are just filters for our environment, and they're supposed to move and flow. So imagine connecting our free-flowing emotions with some unconditional love. And then we're going to take this hand in our stomach and we're going to place it up on our forehead. And we're going to imagine breathing in from the hand on our forehead down to the hand on our heart and then all the way back up. Connecting these two paths. Imagine a clear channel of energy from the head to the heart, from the heart to the head. And then we're going to connect with the same concept. Free-flowing, rapidly firing neurons in our brain are just our thoughts. We are not these thoughts. These thoughts are just thoughts. We are something other than the thoughts. We are the one that can witness the thoughts. So instead of trying to erase all these rapidly firing thoughts, we're going to imagine connecting them to our unconditional love and allowing them to be as they are. Almost as if you're accepting yourself with complete unconditional love. And then let that go and bring the top hand on top of the other hand on your heart. And from this space, imagine unconditional love filling throughout your entire physical form. Feel free to stay here a little longer if this pose is working for you. And with your hands at your heart, I will sign off. May we be happy. May we be healthy and strong. May we live with ease. Thank you so much for joining us today and your patience with all of our interruptions.